how do I literally structure the process of hiring my first growth hire? What do the stages look like? From step one,
Yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah. And I actually helped quite a few founders going through this process. I would say the first thing is write the job description.
Okay.
It shouldn't be your standard job description because as I mentioned, the first step, there are some like homework for the founder to do. You need to think about your growth model. What are the initial growth loops or growth mechanisms? That's important. Because that is something you should be trying to look for. Like, for example, I work with a founder of fintech app. They figured a lot of things out. They also figured out a lot of early paid channels, and their payback is great. I'm like, yeah, for this growth person, you really want to have someone with super strong paid channel expertise because you already figured it out. You literally need someone to amplify it, right? Maybe there are some other different cases. They have a user base that's already there. They want to really systematically thinking about the entire growth funnel. In that case, maybe a more head of growth or lead growth PM with growth product expertise makes more sense. So you need to do the homework, figure that out, because that will go to your job description. In those job descriptions, I usually advise the founders to lay out some early KPIs and initial focus areas that will map to what you need and also the expertise of the person. And also,
can I just dig in?
Yeah.
What would some examples of the KPIs be? Would that be like the revenue numbers, the user numbers, the DAOs? What would that be? Just take an example.
Yeah, like it will be, first of all, like the North Star metric, right? What are the key things? Like for a B2B business, it may be revenue. For a B2C, it may be users, active users, but also some initial focus areas. For example, for one company I work with, I help them figure it out, like, activating new users, onboarding, and free to paid conversion. Those are one of the initial possible focus areas. So in the job description, you don't need to go that deep, but you can talk about, hey, there will be a lot of focus on the onboarding, activation, conversion, like that will help you track the right expertise and also make your thinking super clear as well.
Okay, so we have the KPIs in the job description. We figured out the growth model. We figured out a couple of the growth loops. So we've got a kind of understanding of what sort of profile we want from that understanding. Mm-hmm. What do we do now, Hila?
Yeah, the next step is usually try to share this around in your network, in all the growth channels. Like I help pass this along because there's that concentration of people, and it's always better to figure out someone who know your potential hire. So like try to get referrals, share that like crazy. And then once you begin to get some candidates applications, try to do some screening. I would say there is a company list that I know that has great growth people, and I share that with the founders, and maybe what is the industry, what is the skill set, like all those, if there's a perfect fit, right? Awesome. Try to go after them as quickly as possible. From there, I help a couple founders actually create a take-home assignment, because that is a very nice way to really know their thinking and allow the candidate to share their more comprehensive thinking as well. And then the last step will be the interview. And you need to interview with the founder, the leadership team, your collaborators, and maybe someone in your team as well, like engineer, designers, but also the VP marketing, VP sales, if you need to work with them.
Can I ask you, on the take-home assignment, is that always on your business, like the one that you're hiring for, or is it on the business that they've worked in before? Because obviously they'll have a lot more historical expertise from the business they've worked in before. So how do you do the take-home assignments?
I try to do it in my business, in the company that's hiring, because you want to get people who are quick at thinking, right? Quick at learning new things. That's essential skill set of a growth person. I have a couple questions I like to use. One of those is like, just go to my company's website, go through the entire journey as a new user, pretend you're new, you're exploring Acorns, you're exploring GitLab, download the app and try it yourself. Construct a new user funnel. Like, how would you, like, what are the steps you will include in the funnel? What are the numbers and metrics you will try to collect to understand whether this funnel is effective or not? That can help me know, hey, how do they think about things? How do they think about data? Do they know the most important concepts like aha moments and things like that? Is that funnel ended at downloading app? That's a big red flag. Like, they don't even go beyond that, right? So that's one. The other one is I will ask them to propose 3 experiment ideas and share their hypothesis and how will they measure success metrics. Like, that again, help me understand what's their level of growth expertise. Do they have great ideas? Like, sometimes we do get great ideas from candidates and we test them and we let them know as well if we have the results back. The last component is a more heavy data analysis component. I usually share some real data and a real problem we're trying to solve analytically. Like, I will allow them to think very open-ended, like how would they approach this problem? What other things they may try to look? What other conclusions they will draw from the preliminary data? So that's how I would structure the take-home assignment.
Can I ask, what would be some really big red flags for you when engaging in this interview process, where you'd be really worried when you saw them in the interview process?
One of my favorite questions I ask is, what is the most unexpected experiment result you saw, and what do you do after it? And the reason I love that interview question is because, first of all, people get prepared about their most successful experiments. I don't want to ask for that for sure. Unexpected is in a way that they must have done a lot of experiments and then they have something unexpected. And what they do after to dissect that results and to take out kind of the issues and figure out the next steps is critical. If I hear them, look, no, I don't have any unexpected experiments, everything worked as I planned, that's a red flag because that's not possible. Like 60% of A/B testing fail. If you have done growth or experiments, you should have something. That's one. The other red flag, I would say, too big of an ego, like lack of self-awareness. And I think that's a in general one, like not just growth, but for growth, it's even a bigger red flag because you will fail a lot of times. You need to work with a lot of different teams. You need to be willing to negotiate, have a communication, or rather than prescribe your thing to everyone. Like, that's another one.
I think one I see is like a rigid mindset, which is where you have a growth leader who's had success in a playbook in Facebook ads from 2018. And they're like, you know what, it's this way. And you're like, well, the world's changed a bit.